Hello. Welcome to the complete tutorial for the Strike and Dip Virtual Reality tool. This guide will cover all of the elements included in the Strike and Dip Virtual Reality tool. This includes tutorials for the controls, menus, tools, and steps for taking strike and dip measurements. First, I will be covering the controls used for the Oculus Quest version of this program. Pressing the X button or the A button will activate the button guides, which display descriptions of what each button does. Pressing the Y or B button will open or close the menu. Touching the joystick will activate the selection pointer, which is used for interacting with menus. Clicking or pressing down on the joystick will activate the teleportation arc. Pulling the trigger button will activate any menu items hit by the selection pointer. Holding down the grip button allows users to grab movable objects within the program. Next, I will be covering the menus. The main menu can be opened and closed by pressing the B or Y buttons. To interact with the menus, place a finger on the joystick to activate the selection pointer. Direct the pointer at the menu and pull the trigger button to activate the selection. This is the main menu. This displays the strike data saved to the currently active dataset. This displays the dip data saved to the currently active dataset. This is the Save Strike button. When this button is pressed, the orientation of the compass tool is used to save strike data into the currently active dataset. This is the Save Dip button. When this button is pressed, the orientation of the compass tool is used to save dip data into the currently active dataset. This displays the currently active dataset number. Clicking the arrow buttons on either side of this number will change which dataset is currently active. All datasets can be viewed in the data window, which I will cover at a later point in this video. This displays the tour stop number for the tour stop location that the user is currently at. Click the arrow buttons on either side of this number to teleport to the next tour stop location or the previous tour stop location. Clicking the tabs on the bottom and corners of the main menu will open up additional menus. To open the data menu, click the Data Menu tab. The data menu displays the saved strike and dip measurements for each dataset in the current level. The currently active dataset will be highlighted in green. The currently active dataset can be changed by clicking on any dataset or by clicking the Next Set and Previous Set arrow buttons on the main menu, or by clicking the Next and Previous arrow buttons at the bottom of the data menu. Clicking the Display Full Data or Display Short Data buttons will alter the presentation of the data saved in each dataset. When short data is displayed, the strike value will be displayed as a 3-digit horizontal bearing value between 0 and 360 degrees. And the dip value will be displayed as a 2-digit vertical angle value from 0 to 90 degrees. When full data is displayed, the strike value will be displayed as a 3-digit horizontal bearing value between 0 and 360 degrees, followed by letters representing the compass cardinal direction of that measurement, such as N for north or E for east. And the dip value will be displayed as a 2-digit vertical angle value from 0 to 90 degrees, followed by letters representing the compass cardinal direction of that measurement, such as N for north or E for east, followed by a 3-digit horizontal bearing value between 0 and 360 degrees. Once strike and dip measurements have been saved to a dataset, the Draw Data and Clear Drawn Data buttons will appear at the bottom of the data window. On the left, the Draw Data button will draw arrows along the measurements for the currently active dataset. The Clear Drawn Data button will remove these arrows. To open the World Map menu, click the World Map menu tab. The World Map menu displays a bird's eye view map of the current level, an icon representing the user's current position and the direction they are currently facing, and map markers indicating the location of tour stops or field map stations around the map. This menu also displays the tour guide panel. This panel displays information about the current tour stop location that the user is at, as well as arrow buttons which allow the user to teleport to the next stop and previous stop location. When strike and dip measurements are saved to a dataset, a strike and dip symbol is placed at the corresponding location and direction on the world map. These symbols look similar to an uppercase T. The World Map menu will contain additional panels and functionality for field map levels. They will also contain a rock type panel which displays the names of the rock types present at the field stations on that map. Clicking on Field Station Map Markers will open a drop-down menu, allowing the user to select the name of the rock type present at that field station. Selecting a rock type from this drop-down menu will change the color of the map marker to match the corresponding rock type's color. On field maps using slope cubes, this will also change the color of the slope cube found at the location of the corresponding field station. To open the Home menu, click the Home Menu tab. The Home menu contains submenus which can be accessed using the tabs on the side of this menu. The About submenu contains general information about the Strike and Dip virtual reality program, as well as development information such as this program's build number, the last time this program was updated, and the platform this program is currently built for. The Settings submenu contains options settings. The Button Maps On-Off buttons will activate or disable the functionality of the hovering button menu guides. The Credits submenu contains information about the development team responsible for creating this program. To open the Tools menu, click the Tools menu tab. The Return Strike and Dip Example Set button will place the Strike and Dip Example Set tool in front of the user. The Return Compass Tool button will place the compass tool in front of the user. The Return Beginner Tool button will place the beginner tool in front of the user. The Place Scaffold Platform button will place a scaffold platform below the user's current location. The Remove Scaffold Platforms button will remove all scaffold platforms currently in the level. For additional information and demonstrations on each of these tools, jump to the Tools tutorial section of this video. To open the Level Select menu, click the Level Select menu tab. The Level Select menu contains buttons for each level currently included in the program. Hovering the selection pointer over a level button will display the name of that level and information about that level at the bottom of the Level Select menu. Clicking on a level button will load the corresponding level. To open the Info menu, click the Info menu tab. The Info menu displays names and information about menu items. To view information about a menu item, hover the selection pointer over that item while the Info menu is open. This will display the name of the item and information about it on the Info menu. Next, I will be covering the tools. To access the tools, open the Tools menu. This tool is the Strike and Dip Example Set. This tool demonstrates the relationship between strike, dip, right-hand rule, and the slope they correspond to. Clicking the buttons on this tool will display or hide the arrows or hand model on this tool. This tool is designed to be an example guide. Placing this tool along a slope will demonstrate the strike, dip, and right-hand rule placement for that slope. This is the compass tool. The red and white needle on its face will always point north. The gray needle will always point towards the ground. The face of this tool can be grabbed and rotated, much like a real-world compass. When the Save Strike or Save Dip buttons on the main menu are pressed, they will always save data from the orientation of this compass tool. This is the Beginner tool. It is a movable set of strike and dip arrows. No matter how it is moved, the strike arrow will always stay horizontal or parallel to the ground, and the dip arrow will always point 90 degrees to the right of the strike arrow. Once the strike arrow has been placed along a slope, the dip arrow can be grabbed separately and rotated down to any angle between 0 and 90 degrees. This tool also has a built-in menu. The Expand button will move the menu to a vertical position above the tool. The Minimize button will place the menu flat on the strike arrow of the tool. Once this tool's arrows have been positioned, clicking the Save Strike and Save Dip buttons on this tool's built-in menu will save this tool's strike and dip data. Clicking the Draw Data or Clear Drawn Data buttons will draw or remove arrows along the strike and dip saved to this tool. Clicking the Copy button will create a movable set of arrows that will hold their position along the saved strike and dip for this tool. These copies can be used to compare various measurements around the level. Clicking the Delete button on a copy will remove that set of arrows. In this section, I will demonstrate how to use each of these tools. This tool is designed to be an example guide. Placing this tool along a slope will demonstrate the strike, dip, and right-hand rule placement for that slope. This section exhibits how to save strike and dip measurements using the compass tool. After saving strike and dip measurements, I check those measurements against the correct values for this slope. This example slope displays its correct strike and dip measurements in its bottom left corner. These measurements have a margin of error of a couple of degrees in either direction. This section exhibits how to save strike and dip measurements using the Beginner tool. After saving strike and dip measurements, I check those measurements against the correct values for this slope. This example slope displays its correct strike and dip measurements in its bottom left corner. These measurements have a margin of error of a couple of degrees in either direction. The next tool is the Scaffold Platforms tool. When taking a strike and dip measurement from a high point on one of the landscape or outcrop models, this tool can be very useful for both maneuvering around the model as well as preventing vertigo or uneasiness for users who are uncomfortable with heights. Clicking the Place Scaffold button will place a scaffold platform directly below the user's current position. Clicking the Remove Scaffold button will remove all of the scaffold platforms currently in the level. Next, I will be covering the steps needed to take strike and dip measurements. The first step is to move to the slope that you would like to measure. Clicking the Next Stop button on the main menu will teleport you to the next location. Next, retrieve the compass tool by opening the Tools menu and clicking the Return Compass button. Grab and position the compass horizontally across the slope you would like to measure. Then, open the menu and click the Save Strike button. Now position the compass vertically down the dip of the slope. Open the menu and click the Save Dip button. You have now successfully saved a set of strike and dip measurements. To view all of your saved strike and dip measurements, open the Data menu. Some levels have built-in error checking that will display a red box over any incorrect measurement.